The first two-dimensional piece you see upon entering Mira Lehr's exhibition, High Watermark, is the mixed media magenta and green mangroves. This large-scale canvas is a wonderful piece to begin looking at Lehr's unconventional and truly dynamic use of materials and their connection to the earth. The canvas is awash in green ink flowing into magenta-dyed Japanese papers. The traditional process of creating these washi pages is registered as a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage process, whereby farmers in their off-season would have harnessed the cold of the winter to create crisp papers comprised of local bark fibers like that of the mulberry bush. Linked together by their intricate arched root systems, Lehr connects the foliage of the plants through gunpowder that is lit and ignited directly onto the canvas. This naturally derived chemical catalyst is at once seemingly chaotic and explosive, yet controllable by the artist, perhaps asking the viewer what will be their catalyst for looking more deeply into the complexities of the environment around themselves. In Mira Lehr's immersive installation, Mixing Currents, large organically shaped mirrors like incandescent corals line the perimeter of the gallery walls, reflecting soft-hanging coral-growing light bulbs and the projection of light winds and waves lapping at the ocean shore. In this room of enveloping and mesmerizing contemplation, the artist's title reminds the viewer to take a moment of thoughtful meditation to consider the connections between the ocean's natural mixing currents, their influence on the Earth's temperature, and how those rising temperatures not only affect humanity, but the coral reef population as well. As exhibition curator Ginger Greg Dugan explains it, despite the disheartening statistics about the global decimation of coral and the evidence of mass coral bleaching incidents, Mixing Currents offers viewers a beautiful and inspiring experience, literally and figuratively filled with light. Mira Lehr's message is always a hopeful one of the roles humanity will play going forward in the stewardship and safety of our shared planet. Mira Lehr's mixed media painting Creation is an 8-foot-tall, 3-paneled work exploring notions of creation and destruction that ask the viewer to consider the piece as both a representational and abstracted space of microscopic, personal, and planet-wide scales. The artist uses her own creativity and the formative energy of nature in the form of fire to model a possible vision of our billion-year-old planet that immerses the viewer into a space of potential action. Playing with fire and igniting gunpowder trails on her panels, Lehr's media of burnt paper and gunpowder meld with silvery emulsions to create primordial oceanside shorelines. Like the amoebic black strokes of her painting, the first biological and organic compounds coalesced in this space, giving rise to the ever-changing, growing, and most importantly, the tree of living and connected organisms on our planet. Large-scale framed reproductions of artist Mira Lehr's personal book of drawings, collages, and paintings act as a transition for the exhibition goer as they travel out of the mangroves and into unknown waters. Lehr's work from 2006 demonstrates her own thoughtful meditations of her time and inspiration as a selected participant of inventor and visionary Buckminster Fuller's World Game Project in 1969. Lehr and 26 others were invited to design creative resolutions to uneven distribution and overuse of global resources, as well as to increase the quality of life for all peoples on our planet. Using Fuller's Dymaxion map, an unfolded view of the world as a nearly contiguous landmass connecting all nations without borders, the World Game Project has had a profound influence on Lehr's worldviews and artwork. Titled World Games Revisited, these works on paper project meaningful quotes from Buckminster Fuller meant to remind the viewer and artist herself of humanity's cooperative role in the success of a sustainable planet from the oceans, animals, and plants to humankind.